According to Trump border czar Tom Homan, he says this: in the last 24 hours, the U.S. Border Patrol has encountered a total of 229 aliens across the entire southwest border. He says that is down from a high of over 11,000 a day under Biden. Holman says, I started as a Border Patrol agent in 1984, and I don't remember the numbers ever being that low. A press conference was held talking about a new piece of legislation being proposed in the Arizona state legislature. It would aim to give law enforcement officers in the state more powers to deal with drones at the southern border. Now, if passed, the bill would give officers immunity from liability for damages caused by the interception of a drone under certain circumstances. So, Arizona law enforcement are hoping to ramp up the fight against drug cartels.
The cartels using drones to smuggle drugs? This is wild.
House Bill 2733, which will give law enforcement a critical tool that will help combat cartels and secure our southern border. Cartels are using drones now, drones that bring across narcotics across our border, to drop them off. And many times, these drones will fly in within 30 miles of the border into the desert. House Bill 2733 will allow law enforcement to intercept and disable these cartel-operated drones along our southern border, stopping surveillance by using criminal organization as well as capturing dangerous drugs before they enter our border. This legislation will also provide the necessary legal protections for our officers who will bring down these drug smuggling drones. Cartel actions directly threaten the livelihood of all Arizonans. According to DPS, in 2024, law enforcement seized 150 pounds of heroin, 890 pounds of cocaine, 4,190 pounds of meth, 7,039 pounds of marijuana, and 2,647 pounds of fentanyl. In January this year, DPS has already seized 7 pounds of heroin, 580 pounds of cocaine, and 1,760 pounds of methamphetamine, 937 pounds of marijuana, and 430 pounds of fentanyl.
These threats right now that we got our hands on, they're being taken seriously enough by CBP that they actually kicked out a memo across the agency warning of these threats. So we were able to obtain this through our CBP sources. Now, some of these posts are pretty aggressive here. Some of them, they're calling for just the outright murder of ICE officers. They're telling people, kill your local ICE police, telling illegal immigrants to defecate in the trucks, telling them to impale them with nails, to spit in their food. These are circulating across social media, causing this concern for these local officials that are boots on the ground. Now, Border Czar Tom Homan, he told our News Nation's Kelly Meyer this week that leaked information about operations has actually forced them to pivot on these ops and reschedule them because the safety of these officers is then at risk here. So take a listen to what the Border Czar had to say about that.
We got many target cities, but I'm not going to share them with you because we got to keep our officers safe. Matter of fact, Chicago, that operation was leaked, so we had to reschedule that one. We need the element of surprise, right? Because officer safety issues. We don't want the bad guy to know we're coming to keep our officers more safe.
So this all comes as there were 2 reported cross-border shootings earlier this week, namely in Fronton, Texas. That's in the Rio Grande Valley sector, where Border Patrol actually exchanged gunfire with suspected cartel members. That video that you're looking at, that's the Mexican military response after the incident took place. Now, Blake, we also just got our hands on a memo out of the Rio Grande Valley sector.
Okay, now I believe this was before the Mexico sent 10,000 soldiers to the border to help secure the border. Now, if we have U.S. military at our southern border and Mexico has their military at their northern border, there should not be anybody crossing the border at all. Not one person. Because the Mexican military should be seeing them and flagging them down. Unless we have some soldiers that are corrupt. Now, if we have some soldiers that are corrupt, There needs to be some other agency overlooking both sides of the military, Mexico and the United States, to ensure that everybody is doing the job that they're supposed to be doing. A lot of this money is going towards this law enforcement, this border enforcement. We need to show it's going to good use and not to corruption and just letting drugs and terrorists come through. It needs to stop. It needs to end. They're adding a lot of C-wire to the wall, which is a good idea. Implementing technology with drones, and now passing this bill of, allowing our law enforcement to now take down the cartel drones. There shouldn't be any type of airspace at our borders at all. So I like where this is going. It's gonna take trial and error. It takes time. Can't solve issues in one day, and especially when you have the enemy trying to create ways to come up with new ideas to do their mission on getting illegal things across the border. Now it's everyone's job that's put in place, this law enforcement, to figure out, they need to be steps ahead of the cartels in order to stop them. So it's going to take time. Once we figure out the patterns they are doing, we eliminate what they can do, and then they're having to create something else to figure out ways to come across.
That actually says that this is kind of crazy here, that the cartels authorize the use of weaponized drones, explosives against CBP personnel and U.S. law enforcement down there at the southern border. Now, they're actually being encouraged, of course, to remain cognizant and vigilant, but they're also being encouraged to use their long arms, Blake. I have never seen this in a CBP memo before. They say, wear your ballistic gear, yes, but they're telling them, hey, have your long arms. Yes, they are saying, watch out.
Okay, so if the cartels are using drones and are using them to weaponize them, where these drones can fire upon people, this is becoming very serious. That is almost an act of war right there. The Mexican government needs to step up in that regard and figure out ways on their side to use their technology, even if the US needs to, give them some of our technology to help stop this, because this is a growing concern. That's why this bill had to be passed, because now the cartels are using these drones and implementing weapons on these drones to kill ICE agents. No, that's not good.
For these weaponized drones, we've seen a lot of infighting with two different factions of the cartel down in Tamaulipas, that is on the south side of the border in the Rio Grande Valley, and they have like an all-out war happening between these cartel factions. So they are warning now that they might be using these weaponized drones against U.S. personnel on this side. So definitely cause for concern there.
Since I've been the sheriff just over 4 years now, we've stepped up, of course, and ramped up our partnerships with federal, state, and local government. And we knew as soon as President Trump was elected in office that he was clear and concise on what his priorities were, and this is one of the priorities. And we made those relationships with our federal partners even stronger. So I have 12 deputy sheriffs here that are currently certified under the 287G EOS program. So we're stepping out and getting in front of this. As a matter of fact, I got 2 deputy sheriffs, Deputy Carter and Deputy Armentas, working on Interstate 95 interdiction this morning as we speak right now.
Okay, so let's play through a scenario then. If deputies pull over somebody for a traffic violation on one of those highways and they cannot provide valid proof of identification, what then?
Yep. So we take them to the St. Johns County Jail. So if they're driving on the Florida State road or highway, that is illegal in the state of Florida, and you have to have a valid driver's license. So those deputy sheriffs will take that individual to jail for not having a valid DL. They're automatically fingerprints are rolled, their photos are taken, and they're also run through the IAQ program, which is Immigration Alien Query. So we find out if they have a detainer. If they have a detainer, we immediately contact our federal partnerships, which are phenomenal here in St. Johns County, and we hold them until CBP or ICE or EOR come and pick them up.
And if they don't have a detainer, they don't have a criminal background, how does that change the process?
Sure. So the process is they're in our system now because just like you and me, Marnie, our system, our fingerprints are in the system, our photos are in the system because we're an American citizen. But now we've at least put them into our system. So if they have a bond available, if the charge allows a bond, they are released upon making bond. If the detainer is not valid and the federal government does not want them on a detainer, we release them.
It's crazy because Florida doesn't even share a border with Mexico, and they are doing more work than, well, besides Texas, I would say. And now I feel like Arizona is kind of stepping in, but you don't really hear about New Mexico or California really being strong at the border. Um, they're partnering with ICE to, get, if they're doing a traffic violation and they pull somebody over that doesn't have any type of identification, and then come to find out that they are here in this country illegally, they take them in and process them. And now fingerprints, pictures, mugshots, they're in the system. And that quickly, and they then, as he said, they quickly notify ICE, and that's where they come and take them. So I'm glad Florida's doing this. I feel like all states should be following suit. And this would be a lot quicker to really get a lot of the criminals out of this country that are here also illegally. Okay, so I'm so glad we have a new administration now that's really tackling some of these issues that are going on in this country at our southern border. We got to go after the cartels. I'm glad Trump named them a terrorist organization, and now that it's been declared as that, now we can focus on getting them eliminated. Just as, terrorists on the other side of the world, Hamas, all these terrorist organizations, they got to go. All they want is to kill, murder, and burn the world. This is all they want. They just want violence. They want everything bad and negative to happen. So I'm glad, we have a good administration and we're having people involved, and Trump's appointing so many different people to help push this agenda of creating a safe country here in the United States. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Like and subscribe. I'd appreciate it. Till next time. Peace out, guys.